Jaffe.
Yes.
Now, there are certain debts in bankruptcy that people generally believe are not dischargeable, like taxes and student loans. Isn't that correct?
Yes, that's true. When you get back a dismissal in bankruptcy, you notice on the first side of the paper it says that everything is dismissed. But on the back side, they say what isn't dismissed. And the three things that aren't dismissed are number one, matrimonial, taxes, student loans. And most people just leave it at that. But these items can be also dismissed under certain conditions. Uh, for example, taking student loans. It's very hard to dismiss a student loan, but what many people don't realize, there are programs that you can go into that will lower your student loan payment, anywhere from 50 to 70%, maybe even more than that, depending upon the difficulty you have paying that. The other one are taxes. They always say taxes always have to be paid. That's true. And when you speak to someone like the IRS, they're always very knowledgeable and, for the most part, very pleasant. But they don't tell you, for the most part, that you can also remove a lot of your taxes if you can show the difficulty in paying the taxes. That comes into something called offering compromise. And more people are taking advantage of that. And the third one is matrimonial. And matrimonial is a situation where, say, a person, for example, did an equitable distribution and the number was very high, and then it shows later on in life he can't meet those payments. Well, you can go back into court and try to lower that. These things are difficult, especially the matrimonial, but they all can be accomplished.
As far as the student loans are concerned, when you said you can reduce it by 50 or 75%, are you referring to reducing the payments or reducing the principal of the loan?
Well, a little bit of both. For example, if you go into one of the programs that are set up for student loans, they will allow you to pay it off a certain percentage over a certain period of time. Now, for example, it may be like 10% of your income for a period of 15 to 20 years. And then at that particular time, what isn't paid is completely dismissed. So it can be dismissed. The other thing to be concerned with is sometimes when student loans are dismissed, it comes back at you as taxes. So there are always a lot of ins and outs, and that's why it's always good to be with a good bankruptcy attorney.
What about taxes? Isn't it true that income taxes, if they're over 3 years old and you filed your taxes going forward, that they're automatically discharged in bankruptcy?
Well, that is true. And what has been your experience with that?
They basically do, as long as the taxes were filed going forward and you weren't convicted of fraud or found guilty of fraud. It was just tax that was owed as a result of filing your income tax, or a civil penalty as a result of an audit, that if they're over 3 years old and you paid your taxes 3 years going forward, that they get discharged.
Well, that's true. But we should, in other videos, go more into each one of these subjects, matrimonial, tax, and student loans, because most people think they're non-dischargeable. And that's true for the most part, but a percentage of them are dischargeable, and that's what we'll talk about in the next videos.
If you want more information, feel free to contact Dr. Phillip Jaffe, who's also an attorney with experience in these things. His phone number is 212-734-3535. Thank you.
Thank you, George.